A web hosting control panel is a web-based interface that is provided by a web hosting service provider. It allows users to manage their servers and web hosting services. It also allows users to control different aspects of web hosting, such as managing domain names and web hosting accounts, creating business emails, subdomains, and databases, installing add-on apps and content management systems, uploading web files, monitoring web stats, and managing security and backing up. There are different types of web hosting control panels. The two most popular control panels are cPanel and Plesk. Some control panels offer more features than others. The most notable differentiators of web hosting control panels are performance, usability, operating system, and security. When it comes to performance, the page load time for cPanel is faster than Plesk, and this is because the cPanel is more focused on optimizing performance. Plesk is known for its simple user interface and appearance, as it promotes the grouping of features in accordance to their usability, allowing it to provide a cleaner graphic user interface and more up-to-date menu options than cPanel. Plesk runs on both Windows and Linux, while cPanel is limited to only Linux. Both cPanel and Plesk come with a variety of security features to protect your web hosting server. With Plesk, you have the fail to ban feature, which prevents intrusion, anti-spam, and features to integrate an active direction. cPanel offers the automatic installation of SSL, directories with password protection, and IP address denials. Besides the two most popular control panels, there are other web hosting control panels, which include Direct Admin, WebMin, ISP Manager, Cloud Panel, Interworks, and cPanel. cPanel is a free web hosting control panel written in PHP for Windows, Linux, Unix, and Mac OS X. So after purchasing a web hosting plan and package, your web hosting provider will send you an email with your new account information. The account information will contain login details for different aspects of your web hosting account. Among the login details, you should see the direct server login details with your username, password, and control panel URL. Click on the URL and enter your username and password. You can also access the control panel by going to the web browser and typing your domain name followed by a /cPanel. Alternatively, on the web browser, you can type your domain name followed by a colon and the cPanel port number 2083. You can also access the control panel using the client zone or client area or customer zone. The client zone is the one-stop portal for managing all your web hosting accounts. Different control panels will have different features. This cPanel tour will explore cPanel features that will be available for most cPanels. Keep in mind that the features that will be available on your cPanel will depend on the web hosting provider, the web hosting plan, as well as the web hosting package. So when you log into your cPanel, you'll be redirected to the index page. On the left-hand pane, you have the features represented as icons, and on the right-hand pane, you have the general information and the stats. We'll begin our tour on the left-hand pane. Let's start with emails. So the emails feature lets you manage all your domain name emails. So under emails, you will typically have forwarders, email routing, autoresponders, default addresses, mailing listing, track delivery, global email filters, email deliverability, address importer, spam filter, archives, encryption, box trap, calendars and contacts, configure gray listing, and email disk usage. You use forwarders interface to allow you to forward any incoming emails from one address to another. For example, if your cPanel account owns both, let's say X domain name email and Y domain name email, you can forward X domain emails to Y domain emails and eliminate the need to check both. So with email routing, you're able to route the domain's incoming email to a specific server. Autoresponder feature lets you send automated emails to anyone who sends mail to a specific email account. You may wish to use this feature if, for example, you are on vacation and are unavailable to respond. You can use autoresponders to send a generic message as a response. You can use the default addresses feature to set up a default address to catch all addresses that receives any emails that users send to an invalid email address for the domain. Use mailing lists feature to create a single email address to send emails to multiple email addresses. So you can use the track delivery feature to review email delivery attempts. You can use this feature also to track an email's delivery route. For example, use this feature if you need to locate a problem with email delivery. You can use global email filters to create email filters for all your cPanel email accounts. You can use email feature to create a filter for a specific email account. Email deliverability feature identifies problems with the DKIM, SPF, and PTR records. These records make other mail servers more likely to accept emails that your users send. You can use this address importer feature to import files in order to create multiple email addresses or forwarders simultaneously. You can use the spam filter feature to configure Apache Spam Assassin, which is an anti-spam platform with the ability to filter, identify, classify, and block unsolicited bulk emails. You can use archive interface to save incoming, outgoing, or mailing list emails for a specific amount of time. You can use the encryption feature to encrypt messages. You can use the trap box feature to protect your inbox from spam. The calendar and contacts feature can be used to configure your calendar and contacts applications. Configure gray listing can be used to manage gray listing for each domain on your account. And email disk usage can be used to view all your mailboxes and quickly remove old emails or large messages. The files feature lets you manage the files on your website. So under the files feature, you have file manager, images, directory, privacy, disk usage, web disk, FTP accounts, FTP connections, anonymous FTP, backup wizard, get version control, and file and directory restoration. The file manager feature lets you manage your files. This feature allows you to upload, create, remove, and edit files without needing the FTP or any other third-party application. With the images feature, you can manage images. You can view, resize images, or use the feature to convert images to other file types. Directory privacy limits the access to certain resources on your website. So you enable this feature to password protect specific directories that you do not want to allow visitors to access. With the disk usage feature, you can scan your disk and view a graphical overview of your account's available space. This feature can also help you manage your disk space usage. You can use the web disk feature to access your website's files as if you were a local drive on your computer. FTP accounts feature lets you manage file transfer protocol accounts. FTP connections lets you view current connections on your website via FTP. You can also terminate FTP accounts to prevent unauthorized or unwanted file access. The anonymous FTP feature allows users to connect to your FTP without a password. Backup feature lets you backup your website. The Backup Wizard feature provides a step-by-step guide on how to backup your website. You can use the Git version control feature to host Git repositories on your cPanel account. And lastly, your file and directories restoration feature lets you restore items from backed up files. The databases feature lets you create databases, and underneath databases you have the PHP MyAdmin, MySQL databases, MySQL database wizard, remote MySQL, PostgreSQL databases, PostgreSQL databases wizard, and PHP PG admin. So you can use the PHP MyAdmin feature to manipulate MySQL databases. You can use MySQL databases feature to manage large amounts of information and create MySQL databases. MySQL Database Wizard provides a step-by-step guide to creating MySQL databases. The remote MySQL feature can be used to configure databases that users can access remotely. MySQL databases feature, you can create MySQL databases. With Postgre databases, you can create Postgre databases. So the difference between PostgreSQL databases and MySQL databases is that Postgre databases are object relational databases, while the MySQL databases are relational databases. With the PostgreSQL database wizard feature, you are given the step-by-step guide on how to create the PostgreSQL database. And you can use the PHP PG admin feature to manage PostgreSQL databases. The domains feature lets you manage all your web hosting domain names. So under this feature, you have site publisher, domains, add-on domains, subdomains, aliases, redirects, and zone editor. With the site publisher feature, you can quickly create simple websites from a variety of templates. The domains feature lets you create and manage multiple domains for your accounts. With add-on domains, you can add more domains to your accounts. With subdomains, you can create different subdomains. So subdomains represents subsections of a website that exists as a new website without a new domain name. So for example, if you have a domain name examples.com and you want to create a blog as a separate section of that website, you can have a blog.example.com. If you want to create a shop subdomain, you can have shop.example.com. So subdomains just represents subsections of an existing website, and that subdomain will have the same domain name as the main website. Aliases lets you create domain aliases. So domain aliases allow you to point additional domain names to your account's existing domains. So this allows users to reach your website if they enter a pointed domain URL in their browser. You can use the redirects feature to make a specific web page redirect to another web page and display its contents. This allows users to access a web page with a long URL through a page with a shorter, more memorable URL. The Zone Editor feature allows you to create, edit, and delete domain name system zone record or DNS zone records. With metrics, you can manage your website's statistics. So under metrics, you have visitors, errors, bandwidth, raw access, AW stats, analog stats, Webalizer, Webalizer FTP, and metrics editor. The visitors feature lets you view the most recent entries in the Apache log for a given domain. The errors feature displays up to 300 of the most recent errors on your website. You can use bandwidth to view your website's monthly and overall bandwidth usage. Raw access allows you to view your visitors log or the visitors to your website without the graphics. AW stats lets you view the AW stats metrics. Analog stats lets you view the analog stats metrics. Webalizer lets you view the Webalizer metrics. And Webalizer FTP lets you view the Webalizer metrics for FTP. Lastly, you can use the metrics editor feature to select the metrics programs that you want to run on each domain on your web hosting account. The securities feature offers a number of security tools to help secure your website. Under security, you have SSH access, IP blocker, SSL or TLS, manage API tokens, hotline protection, leech protection, security policy, mode security, two-factor authentication. You can use the SSH access feature to securely connect your server remotely through the command line. You can use the IP block feature to prevent access to your website from a range of IP addresses. So you can block different types of IP addresses. You can use SSL or TLS to manage SSL or TLS keys, certificates, and signing requests, and to enhance your website's security. You can use Manage API Tokens feature to create, list, update, and evoke API tokens. You can use hot link protection to prevent hot links to your website. With leech protection, you can set the maximum number of logins that can occur within a 2-hour time limit. The secure policy feature, you can configure the security questions that cPanel displays when you attempt to log into your account from an unrecognized IP address. You can use mod security to enable or disable mod security for your domains. You can use the two-factor authentication to improve the security measures on your website. With this feature, you will require two forms of identification to log in, and if you disable this feature, you must also remove any existing two-factor authentication user configurations. The security features can also have SSL TLS wizard and SSL TLS status. With SSL TLS wizard, you can easily purchase and install SSL certificates for domains on your accounts. With the SSL TLS status, you can view, upgrade, or renew your SSL certificates. The software feature contains the software packages that you can install on your website. So under this feature, you have PHP pair packages, Perl modules, Ruby gems, Ruby on Rails, site software, optimized website, multi-PHP manager, multi-PHP INI editor, and application manager. You can use the PHP pair packages feature to manage collections of functions that allow you to perform tasks in PHP. You must install a pair PHP package before you can use it in a PHP program. You can use the Perl modules feature to manage collections of features that allow you to perform tasks in Perl. You must install a Perl module before you can use it in a Perl program. You can use the Ruby gem feature to manage collections of functions that allow you to perform tasks in Ruby. You must install Ruby gem before you can use it inside a Ruby program. You can use Ruby on Rails to create and deploy a Ruby on Rails application from your cPanel. You can use site software to add useful softwares to your website. Optimized website lets you tweak the way Apache serves responses and enhance the performance of your website. With multi-PHP Manager, you can easily manage the PHP configuration of your accounts. You can use multi-PHP INI editor to configure your PHP settings. Lastly, with Application Manager, you can quickly deploy and easily maintain Fusion Passenger application. Under the Advanced feature, you can find further tools and features to improve your website's functionality. And these include Terminal, Web Host Manager, cron jobs, track DNS, indexes, error pages, Apache handler, MIME types, virus scanner, and API shell. The terminal feature lets you connect to your account via the command line. The Web Host Manager feature can be used to access the Web Host Manager. With cron jobs, you can automate certain commands or scripts on your website to run at a specific time. For example, you can use cron jobs to delete temporary files every week to free up disk space. You can use the track DNS feature to look up an IP address or trace the route from your computer to your web server. You can use indexes to customize the way in which directories display when visitors attempt to access them. The error pages feature can be used to configure messages to inform visitors that a web server cannot access a website. You can use Apache Handler to control how the Apache web server manages certain files, certain file types, and extensions from your site. You can use the MIME type feature to configure how cPanel relays information to the browser about how to handle specific file extensions. The viruses scanner feature can be used to scan for viruses and security weaknesses. Lastly, the API shell can be used to run cPanel API functions within the cPanel interface. With the preference feature, you can change your account settings. And under this feature, you have password and security, change language, change style, contact information, user manager, and account preferences. The password and security feature, you can change your cPanel password and manage your external authentication accounts. You can use the change language feature to select the language in which the cPanel interface can be displayed. You can change your style using the change style feature. You can use contact information to set your contact information and configure your notification preferences. The user manager feature can be used to add, manage, and delete your sub-accounts. Account preferences can be used to change the location of your system alert notifications on the screen. With most web hosting packages, you'll also have the Softaculous app installer, and this is a commercial script library that automates the installation of commercial and open source web applications to a website. So under the Softaculous app installer, you'll find different scripts, and WordPress will be one of those scripts. There are two ways to install WordPress on your website. The first method is to use the Softaculous app installer. The other method I'll show you using the subdomain. So you can go to the wordpress.org website and download the WordPress files and install them on your file manager. I'll show you both methods. The first method I'll show you when we create our website. The second method I'll show you when we create the subdomains. You can use either one of the methods to install WordPress on your website. So on the right hand pane, you have the general information. So under the general information, you'll have the current user, primary domain, the shared IP address, the home directory, the last login IP address. You can also find a link to the server information. Underneath the general information, you'll have the statistics or the web hosting account stats. The stats that you will see will depend on the web hosting package, but typically you will have your disk usage, file usage, MySQL disk usage, PostgreSQL disk usage, bandwidth, add-on domains, subdomains, aliases, email accounts, mailing lists, autoresponders, forwarders, email filters, FTP accounts, MySQL databases, PostgreSQL databases, CPU usage, entry processes, physical memory usage, IOPS, IO usage, number of processes. When using the features on your left-hand side, make sure that you are also cognizant of the stats on the right-hand side. So for example, before creating an email account, you might want to check how many emails you are allowed to create. Same thing with subdomains. Before creating a subdomain, you might want to check how many subdomains you are allowed to create. It's important to be cognizant of the stats because in some cases, some web hosting providers will penalize you for exceeding the set limit. So make sure you know what your stats are and try not to exceed them. So this was the control panel and SSL certificate, and enforce the SSL certificate on your website. See you in the next video.